Good morning, good morning, beautiful people. How is everybody this morning? Hope everyone is well and slept well. I did. Yeah, a little bit of rain this morning, which is nice. We need it where I am, and it's going to cool things down because the last week or so has been unusually hot. It's like we transition from cold winter to this 30-degree weather every day, and it's a little bit of a shock to the system. Not that 30 degrees is anything. 30 to 32, I think. Not that it's way up there, but you know, straight after winter it's a bit of a surprise. Anyway, the rain will cool things down nice, and that's what we want. So, this is part 4 to Pathways to Contentment. We've got some other topics I want to chat about this morning. The first one being, and it brushes on another video I did related to the caffeine. So the first, and I'm going to try, when I speak, I'm going to try and use words, exact words, because with all the vlogs I've done, well, with the last vlogs I've done, I'm sometimes using the wrong word, and you know, my message can get lost in translation simply because I leave a word out or use the wrong word or use the word twice when two different words should have been used. So with every word I'm going to try and really focus on if it's the right word, especially when I'm describing something. Anyway, the first pathway on the list I've written down is, and it's related to the caffeine vlog I did, okay? And it simply states, slow down and take it in, okay? And like I said in that video, the caffeine video, I believe caffeine inhibits us from being able to slow down and take stuff in. That's my personal view, and it's the way it makes me feel. Caffeine speeds everything up in my day, and that's the opposite of slowing down. It's a stimulant, so I think it would be true for everybody. Maybe we've got different immunities to it, but it is a stimulant, and to some degree it would inhibit everybody to varying degrees. It would inhibit us to slow down to varying degrees depending on our immunity to it, if that's the right word. So the first pathway is slow down and take it in. So we've got to do whatever we can do to help us slow down and take it in. An example is me walking through this park right now. I'm slowing down. I'm trying to take in the plants, take in the atmosphere they're creating, because I believe it's really good for mental health. Plant life. I believe plant life is really good for mental health if we take it in and if we slow down. I mean, I really feel like when I walk through here, I'm really trying to exaggerate the experience and take it in. And I'm just not sure if everybody does that, you know. So somebody's coming, I'm just going to speed along. Morning. So I'm, lady there, I should have showed you that dog. It's like a wolf. It's the biggest, baddest German Shepherd I've ever seen, but apparently very friendly. Anyway, taking it in. Now, when I associate contentment, bliss, harmony, I also associate a slowing down process for myself. I mean, that's always been my visualization of somebody that's content, to be honest. I don't know about the rest of you, but for me, if I visualize somebody that's content, the picture of somebody that has slowed down in life and literally stopping to smell the roses, as they say, comes to mind. So maybe it's true. Maybe it's true. I mean, these are only my ideas, but I've got on the list as the first pathway, I am stating, or it states, that we need to slow down and take in what's going around us, second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. I'm literally walking slow here too. I'm walking super slow, deliberately, as I'm talking about this pathway. I mean, if we slow down, whether it's walking, driving, riding a bike, whatever it is, talking, the act of talking slow might help with the slowing down process if we want to try and achieve it. You know, I mean, it's just food for thought. It's worth thinking about, isn't it? I'm just trying to maximize my quality of life here. And these are a paper bark tree. I don't know if they're related to the gum or not, or if they're their own. Oh, they are a gum tree, of course I know that, and I can tell by the shape of the leaves. So they're a variety of gum tree. Amazing, because of the bark they get. I think they're endemic to Australia, but the bark is like paper. That's a bad example of bark because it's old and a little bit mouldy, but I'll see if I can find some better stuff. See that? It's like, you know, the paper they used to use back centuries ago. It's quite amazing stuff. They're called paper bark trees. Oops. Anyway, yeah, the art of slowing down, if we can call it an art. I think it might be, because it requires a lot of concentration and action on different fronts. Maybe talking's one of them. Maybe walking's one of them. Driving might be one of them. Slowing down, taking in we are. You know? That's what I'm going to try and do. And me talking about it here is going to help with that. They say talking about things out loud and to and with others thus achieve what we're trying to do. And for me, I think it does. I think talking about things, and you know what, it's hard to get anybody to listen to you want to talk about things, especially stuff like this, because we're all into different interests and topics, aren't we? My little dog's gone missing. Anyway, she's free range this morning. Nobody's around because of the weather. She's a bit overcast. So that's the first pathway on today's vlog. And I think a really important one. I mean, look, it's only my opinion, but you know, when we picture somebody contented and happy, I mean, don't we picture somebody that's slowed down and taking stuff in? I could be wrong about it, but it rings true with me. You know, somebody that's slowed down and taking things in compared to somebody that's busy all the time. You know what I mean? I wonder. It's just a thought. How do you prove it? I don't know, but it's just a thought and something to consider. I think it rings true with me, and it would ring true with some other people, I'm sure. So there you go. That's the pathway there. Slowing down, and because slowing down gives us the time to take in what we're walking past. You know, and a lot of us take plant life, for example, for granted. But every plant's individual. They're all different in their own ways, and they're to be appreciated and admired. I happen to be walking past these things right now. They're coming into flower. I'm walking slow to take it in, or to take them in, you know, because they do represent my life, my daily life. Why ignore them? Anyway, that's that one. I can't think of much else to say on that. I mean, if we want to maximize the slowing down process, I think we should try and get away from any stimulants. Caffeine is the obvious one there. I don't have caffeine. I don't have caffeine not for that reason, but it's a bonus reason now that I think about it. The reason I don't have caffeine is because I just can't relax during the day or at night time when I want to go to sleep. That's why I don't have it. I've tried for years to experiment with it and I just can't have it. Anyway, on to the next pathway. Second pathway I've written down. I wrote this list a while ago, so I've written it down, so I'll mention it. And it states, if you don't like me, that's okay, but I love you and I wish you all the best. So that's just a frame of mind that we should try and develop. I think that's what I'm trying to say there. That's a frame of mind we should try and develop. And that, if we do develop that frame of mind, I assume what I meant by that pathway is, if we do develop that frame of mind, it helps us get rid of resentment from others. Little toilet break here. I'll press pause. Yeah, so I think that's a healthy mindset, isn't it? I mean, the natural instinct for us, if we have a confrontation or an argument from somebody else, or we conclude they don't like us for whatever reason, let it go. Not everybody's going to love us. And let them go with love. You know what I mean? As we know, we rely on each other for healthy mental living. But not everybody's going to gel with us. So letting people come and go with love is the way to go. And so long as we are maintaining and developing and growing ourselves into the best versions that we can be, what does it matter if somebody doesn't like us? You know what I mean? Love them and let them go, and that's life. Come on. She's having a good run around here. She's gonna love it when I get her out on the road. So that's all. I can't think much to elaborate on that point, other than that's going to help us develop our contentment, our bliss, our tranquility in life. You know, I guess it's related to Mel Robbins's theory on let them. Let people be who they are. They don't like you, that's fine. But love everyone. You know, everything's good. It doesn't matter. So long as we're concentrating on ourselves and growing and developing. Don't take rejection too hard. And that's probably a good attitude to have when dating or when pursuing a partner. Now that I think of it, you know, if they're not going to like us, it doesn't matter. So long as we are happy with ourselves or happy with the growth in ourselves, what does it matter if you know, a certain person that we're trying to date doesn't like us on the day? Let them go with love, you know. And you know, it may turn out that they're ultimately not the person for you anyway, and it's probably a good thing. it would be a good thing, you know what I mean? It goes back to a pathway in another video. Be ourselves, put yourself out there, and people that like you will, people that don't won't. But that way you're getting the right contacts, the right friends, the right associates, because they like the real you, not the pretended version. And you know, that would be the way to go. So all these little thoughts and actions are going to help create that contentment, that tranquility, I think, if we're honest, open and true to ourselves and others, and loving everybody. Okay, we don't have to get around hugging everybody, but I mean loving everybody in our own minds, at the very least. Kookaburra there. I'll try and get him on video. Next pathway. Gee, I just realised I wasn't videoing. I found the kookaburra. Mr. Kookaburra, come on. I had a nice side view of him. He's all eyes on the dog. There we are. Bad lighting. The light's on the other side of him. Anyway, the next pathway. I don't think I'm jumping ahead there, am I? The next pathway I've got written, and a lot of these pathways that I've written are related to each other. I've written this one down, so it might have rang true but different in my mind, and I've deemed it worthy of writing down. And that is, here comes the lady with the big Alsatian. I'll get him on video because he's the biggest German Shepherd I've ever seen. Look at that, he's a beautiful dog though. Come here, love, come here, Highness. There he is, he wants to play with her. He was looking, see? Beautiful dog. And there's an example of one of the pathways that's coming up. Beautiful, amazing things. You know, don't hold on to thoughts of maybe that particular breed that somebody else put in your head, or German Shepherd suck for whatever reason. Come here. Well, that's a beautiful dog. And that thought is going to help create or maintain your minute by minute contentment and tranquility. Okay, anyway, the third pathway is dislike can be taught or picked up. Oh, there we go. So that dog was an example, or my comment on that dog was an example of how often in life are you in a conversation with somebody you know, God, I'm sick of it. It goes back to the hate list. And sometimes hate can be an exaggeration, but dislike list, there's hate list, there's dislike list. It's like, why? Anyway, because remember, that dislike, that hate is robbing you of your contentment. That second by second thought, minute by minute thought of how much you don't like German Shepherds, for example, that's a thought of dislike or hate in your head. And you can't have contentment at the same time as having hate or dislike in your head. Can you? I mean, you wouldn't be able to do the two at the same time. So the third pathway is dislike can be taught / picked up. Can't it? From childhood or youth, often a bad experience, somebody being attacked or bitten by a particular dog. Okay, a crazy dog that's a bad dog, they've been attacked by or bitten by or threatened by, and then they can develop a lifelong dissatisfaction or hate or dislike for dogs. And that dislike is robbing them of happy thoughts, happy encounters with other dogs through their life. They're probably not going to have their own dog. So that's an example of dislike can be it's probably not a classic example of dislike can be picked up or taught, actually, because that probably stands on its own a little bit, and we can't blame the person for those thoughts, but they need to, for their own peace and tranquility, they need to, and contentment, they need to deal with that. So anyway, I'm wandering a little bit, but dislike can be taught or picked up. Think about that yourself. A lot of these pathways are just thoughts that we may not think about. I don't necessarily have to explain them or give examples I'm thinking right now. Just simply by mentioning the pathway, if we're, half curious, can make us start thinking about examples on our own. If I sat down and really thought about it, I could wrap out thousands of examples of, here's some beautiful flowers on this tree. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So, it was a bit high to reach that one, and there's not many others. They've all fallen off. There's some on the other side. So let me just gather my thoughts here. Yeah, so dislike can be taught or picked up. I don't know what to say about that. Maybe that's a good one for us to just contemplate on our own. But, if you stopped and thought about it for a second, there's plenty of examples in your own life where somebody's tried to push, well, actually not necessarily tried to push, but they've mentioned things that they don't like. And as young people, as a child or a teenager, it's easy to actually take that on board. Oh, right, okay. German Shepherds, for example, they're not a good breed of dog. And we can carry that thought all our lives simply because somebody else said it. So important to, somebody sent me a message, I'll just check that. Hopefully I don't lose the video.